This episode of the Cryptonaut Podcast is brought to you by Cryptid Crate. Visit cryptidcrate.com and at checkout, be sure to use our promo code GRAMPUS, that's GRAMPUS, to get 10% off the entire life of your Cryptid Crate subscription. The holidays are right around the corner, and a Cryptid Crate would make a great present for anyone. So again, be sure to visit Cryptid Crate, use our promo code at checkout, and that's GRAMPUS, GRAMPUS, to get 10% off the entire life of your Cryptid Crate subscription. We are super excited to announce that our buddy Nick Littlefield just this last week launched his latest 3D printed crypto toy, and it is the giant space brains of Palos Verdes. If you've not seen Nick's work, you should check him out on Instagram. It's at I Really Love Pixels. I've gotten a couple things from him and posted them up. I've got the alien Sasquatch, the Bloody Yeti. He also did the space penguins of Tuscumbia, a little 3D printed dude there, and we got a couple of those, and they are awesome. So yeah, just this week, Nick launched the giant space brains of Palos Verdes. It comes with a sticker. It comes with a custom box. It has articulated legs. It is awesome looking. So here's the deal. We partnered up with Nick for this, and we are offering a coupon code to you, our good listeners, for 20% off your purchase in Nick's shop. The link for that will be in the description of this podcast. And the promo code is, all one word, Hammer Pants. That's HAMMERPANTS. So spell hammer and then spell pants. Don't put a space in there, and you're good to go. You get 20% off your order. All of that information will be listed in the description of this podcast, so be sure to check that out below. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. We got Cryptid Crate. We got Nick Littlefield at I Really Love Pixels. We got some cool promo codes for you there. And before we get started with the show, I wanted to give a huge thank you to everyone that bought some stuff from us from TeePublic during our Black Friday / Cyber Monday bonanza or whatever. We're so appreciative of everything that you guys do, and it's super cool to see everyone supporting the show, especially since these purchases help us out financially. We are then able to take that money that we make, and we are able to pay for the cost of doing the show, but also too with the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday sale, we now are able to branch out and do other other projects that I really want to tell you guys about it, but I can't because we're still, getting all the details about it together, but we're pretty excited, and that hopefully that will be up soon. So, okay, cool. There you have it. Without further ado, Christopher, cue that creepy music. Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, with me as always is.
I am Chris.
And
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us as always. The social media.
Wow.
The Instagram, the Twitters, the Facebooks. You like that?
Dude, are you a fucking children's show host? What happened?
I figured I would change it up a little bit. The Instagram.
It never works when you change it up.
I know it doesn't.
It's always 10 times worse.
Well, I think what we're trying to get to is that we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter.
Yep.
Sure.
We're on Facebook. You guys more than me. I'm sorry. I've missed a couple of messages on there. But it's okay.
Hey, come on.
It happens. It's no big deal. So
Bush League.
But Instagram is where we primarily are active. So hit us up on Instagram.
That's the editorial we, because Mark is literally the only one active
I'm on
Instagram.
Yeah, hit me up there.
But he is more diligent about that than Chris and I combined on Facebook.
Yeah. And if for some reason it might take us a little bit to get back to you, don't worry about it. We're not ignoring anybody. It just
we're not dicks. We're lazy.
It just takes a little bit of time to get back to people. So ratings and reviews always help this podcast.
Totes.
As mentioned a couple episodes back, we broke into the top 100 in the Hungary and Lithuania educational system for podcasts.
And for the record, that is not Mark mispronouncing Hungary.
No,
that is how it is listed,
how it's listed,
which delights me to no end, especially because it's in the education segment.
Yeah.
Unless it's a new nation born of the Iron Bloc that we've just never heard of.
Oh, like somewhere Hungary between Part 2?
Hungary and fucking Czechoslovakia or whatever the fuck else is out there.
Czechoslovakia, my favorite.
Yeah.
Hungary.
So ratings and reviews, leave them Apple Podcast apps and the iTunes. We are appreciative very much.
Yeah, we love it.
Sure. And stick around for the end of the show because we go over reviews there for all the reviews that you good people leave. So getting started this week, real quick, I want to give a secondary shout out to Kevin Bly because the Sriracha the jerky that he sent.
Yeah.
I found it here in town
Oh,
at
sweet.
the local Tops Market.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I may have bought a lot of it.
Oh,
I
that's
may have murdered my stomach. I thank God I found it because I crushed the bag here. I'm like, God damn, that shit is so goddamn
That
good.
almost killed me. It was delicious, and I thank you again, Kevin.
yeah. You breathed it.
And your lady friend who also contributed to this glory, but it was just horrible. I inhaled it in. It burned all my lungs. I had 17 asthma attacks. I was brought back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just.
But the cookies, delicious.
Oh,
the
yeah.
brouhahas, wunderbar.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. No, I blew through, I think, already 4 bags of it that I bought. So I'm going to go back and buy
Did you
more.
use it before or after Thanksgiving?
Actually, during, I brought some to work because I had to work on Thanksgiving.
There you go.
So I brought some to work and had some
Damn.
there.
That was your pilgrim meat.
It was, my
jerky.
spicy pilgrim
jerk
meat. Yeah.
eel.
Yeah, it was delicious. It was awesome. So
I'm just gonna forewarn our listeners. I'm a little off. Did a lot of partying this Thanksgiving weekend,
did you break your mind with whiskey?
And I'm gonna say I'm
Okay.
gonna slur it up a little. There's
Cool.
gonna be broken moments, so just
It's okay.
You'll have to deal with it.
Robert, we have the magic of editing. Thank God.
God bless
We can do it. So this week, we're going back to the 2-for-1 Mystery Bag Monday.
Oh, I love that
Or
place.
the Mystery Bag 2-for-1 Fun Deal.
Or the twin sack
fun
of
deal.
love and entertainment. No,
Yeah.
I was just see.
No.
That's what I'm talking about. I just don't have it tonight.
We are going to be doing this every month now. We're going to be doing the 2-for-1 Mystery Bag Monday every month, so that way we get the 2-for episode in there. So
And you know what? It's a fun way to present you guys with maybe stories that don't quite warrant a full episode.
yeah, totally.
But are still interesting to know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be getting started off with the Sugar Bundle. Not long after the turn of the 20th century, 2 armed guards had a brief but terrifying encounter with an entity of unknown origin that possessed a bizarre defense mechanism, which seems like it may have been culled straight from the classic sci-fi comic, were it not for the fact that the event occurred a full 18 years before the invention of the comic book. Pre-comic book history, Robert.
Oh, man.
Truly is.
Let's get into this. This sounds cool.
And that, I think, is the most authentic element of it. The fact that it came out before comics just means it's 100%
Real.
legit.
Yeah.
What did people even do before comics?
Told true stories about things that really happened.
Yeah. Tried to do things in comics and died, probably.
Comics weren't there to warn them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to lace my bones with metal. Oh, no, I died.
Lace my... oh, my God. Early Wolverine.
Why did they say it like Lindsey Graham? All right.
Oh, that's great.
While the testimony regarding this fascinating case is admittedly scant, as I mentioned, it remains one of the oldest and most intriguing, ostensibly cryptid reports. I'm calling it a cryptid for now.
Sure.
To hail from Cuba, or anywhere else for that matter. According to renowned extraterrestrial chronicler Albert Rosales, who just has done a great job with his Humcat humanoid category ratings year by year, just breaking it down from all sorts of sources, the incident in question took place late in the evening near Jicote, Las Villas, or Villa, I'm going to mispronounce it, in Cuba sometime in 1915. The episode involved 2 armed guards who were on their routine night patrol near the perimeter of a sugarcane field, which is kind of where you want to be on a nice evening
So
in 1915.
they guard sugarcane fields with armed guards?
Well, you don't want...
it's Cuba.
There's the sugar
That's
bear.
true, it is Cuba,
who,
yeah.
who
Come
makes
on.
sugar smacks. There's
Right.
all sorts of serial shenanigans going on. The Tricks Bunny.
Oh, yeah, industrial espionage.
It's going to be shady.
Yeah,
You got to protect your
that's right.
shit. Got to hit my pops.
Hey,
Smack them.
The men were on horseback and approaching a bend in the trail when suddenly their horses froze and began to, and this is a quote, snort as if in a panic. More curious than concerned, the men were attempting to urge their horses forward when they both noticed what appeared to be a small white sack-like bundle on the ground right next to the trail. The tiny off-white object, which looked like a standard sugar sack, did not overtly arouse the guards' curiosity until it began to undulate across their path like a living entity.
That's when you draw your weapon.
Is that what you do?
That's what you
Really?
do.
Is anyone surprised that is Mark's first instinct?
yeah.
But I'm not that guy. I'm just taking precaution.
You always
If
kill
ha-
first,
Yeah,
question
what do you-
later.
yeah.
Okay, first of all,
what?
I never kill anything ever.
You
But if
speculatively murder every other monster
Yeah,
we talk
yeah.
about.
No, I don't. I draw my weapon. I
And
get a
destroy it.
I get a beat on it, and then I make a decision from there.
Well, I've got good
I don't
news for
pull the
Mark.
trigger.
Beat
The good
on
news
it.
for Mark is He could have been a sugarcane guard back
See?
in 1915
There you
because
go.
that, my friends, is what you do.
You
apparently,
don't pull the trigger, but you prepare your tools of war.
All right, so let's
for war.
before we trip on what Mark would do and what these guys I've already tipped the hat do. Let's think about this giant maggoty looking fuck. It's just inching across the goddamn dark
It sounds
path.
like a giant. In my mind, it's a giant maggot.
It's a big giant scum maggot that has like weird undulating sides, so it's sort of ripply like I guess like a sack.
Yeah. Okay. Gross.
So it's just dirty. All right. The already agitated horses quickly escalated into panic as the bundle seemed to change direction abruptly and crawl directly toward the men and their animals. So bad enough this fuck-sucking thing is just moving across the road.
And now it's coming at
oh,
you.
Oh, what's this all about?
What are you?
What are you fucking doing in my cane field, bitches?
But it looks like a sugar sack, just a sack, though.
Like
Yeah,
a
it
doesn't
worm,
look
like
like
a worm sack. Like it looks like. I guess let's assume. Let's take these people at their word. Like a sack full of sugar, except it's ambulatory.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm picturing. Like
Yeah.
something
Now,
in
I'm
the sack.
imagining it like undulating worm-like, or maybe like the dolphin, depending on which breakdancing move you prefer.
yeah,
Oh,
it's true.
it
Same
could be
thing,
doing a
but-
dolphin,
It is essentially the same move.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's how I see it, but I don't know. It could have been like half doing a jig. I mean, there's no way of fucking
Yeah,
knowing.
right.
Just doing a cute little dance.
It could have been,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
not based on the
moonwalking?
Yeah,
reaction.
moonwalking.
In the sack.
moonwalk.
You can tell.
Like a
Well,
thunderbird.
here's the thing:
It's clearly
moonwalking always
moonwalking.
soothes a horse.
It's true.
That's a fact.
It's science.
Everyone knows that. That's
question-
that's just farm science.
Yeah, but in a sack.
Equestrian historians will tell you that moonwalking.
This fucking thing stopped from its course, changed direction, approached the men
Okay.
and the horses under their buns. At this point, the guards, much like a Mark store as we know, liberated their pistols. One of them took aim and fired several shots at
Yeah,
the thing.
there he is.
I
There it
wouldn't
is.
necessarily shoot this thing.
I think you would.
No.
So what good would it be to take your gun out if you had no intention of shooting this thing?
Just in case it made a move.
Well, it's coming towards you. What
Yeah,
kind
but
of
it's
moves?
not
Like, does it have
making-
to fly through the air and
It's
like
gotta
jump on your partner's face?
It's got to be like a. It's got to be something like deadly.
How,
Like
how does a sugar sack do anything that remotely resembles a deadly move?
if this thing wraps itself around the horse's leg and dissolves it, okay, then I'm going to shoot it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah, you really
Okay.
did come up with an
Yeah. So
excellent
if it's
example.
like a face hugger, it's like, oh, it's just sitting there. And I was
Yeah. If it all of a sudden grows teeth and legs,
Okay, so
then
if
it's going to get shot.
if it's an acid marshmallow,
Yeah.
or if it fucking suddenly sprouts
Well, I
like
mean, I'm
John
not-
Carpenter thing limbs
Yeah.
and scuttles.
I'm not like a stand my ground, like ready to shoot everybody. I'm saying if you have weapons, at least do your due diligence.
I will say that your
Right.
your past words will indict you on this. All right.
All right, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the last two bagger that I wanted to kill the crab and eat it. Right? Is that what I wanted to do?
Yeah, you did.
I wanted to.
That was at the Bremerton monstrosity.
I wanted to fucking
You
choke
wanted to
it.
kill a
Garbage
lot of
cellar
things.
prawns.
I'm like, I'm just gonna stab it in its face and eat
Yeah,
it.
and the poor flipper from Mexico City or whenever.
Oh yeah, I wanted to shoot that.
The
too.
70s, I'm
I
sure it was
gonna
the
kill
70s.
that, yeah, I guess it depends on the level of beer I have in me, my level of aggression and wanting to shoot things I don't understand.
So one beer in, you're pretty. You still
I'm
have
okay
that
now.
Gandhi streak.
yeah,
All right.
2 more beers. I'm like, fucking kill this piece of shit.
I don't
right.
understand it.
So the Cuban Mark back in 1915 pops a couple caps in this thing.
All right.
Instead of stopping,
Oh, yeah.
or even slowing down, this inexplicable life form did something that the two men were utterly unprepared for. It began to grow exponentially larger every time it was shot at.
That. Ooh, that's
Boom.
interesting.
A
Yeah,
little
see,
bigger.
it's not what you,
Pop, pop.
exactly.
A little bigger.
Stop
Oh,
shooting.
almost that. Actually, almost seems like that's a defense mechanism. Yeah.
It sure does.
Is it?
Oh,
Is it Bishop?
See? Is it Bishop?
It absorbs
yeah, it absorbs the power.
kinetic
yeah.
energy and
Yeah.
gets.
The other guard, I guess for the purposes of this story, I'll make him Chris.
All right, good.
You guys regarding the cane fields.
Oh no! What
So
am I
the
doing?
turn of the century.
Coughing on
The
my
other
horse.
guard, dying of consumption, slowly
Like I
in his
just-
saddle.
Chris
Like I do
coughing Carnicelli is hacking on his horse.
Sorry. Yes.
No, you're all right.
I'm over here.
Health-wise at that
I'm
point.
smacking my lips and trying to shoot this thing, and it's getting bigger.
Jesus Christ. And here it's funny. So you got to imagine this, and it's going to be funnier as I continue to read. Fucking Cuban U is just popping caps into this fucking thing, and it's just expanding.
It's getting bigger.
Right.
So his partner, brilliant, no doubt, perhaps too alarmed to realize that he was making a grave mistake, also began firing into the swelling thing.
Oh no!
Jesus Christ,
So now
dumb fuck.
it's getting like thrice
See,
big
you
now.
think after like 3, you do one and it gets a little big, and you're like,
all right,
okay,
well,
well,
boom.
right.
you know,
Maybe because at first you're probably thinking, I'm thinking, Okay, so it was kind of folded in on itself. It's like a weird
So it's
land jellyfish or
No,
something. And it was folded
Yeah.
in. But once I shot it, it expanded its chest. It's puffing up, trying to look like a badass, like
Yeah.
a puff adder, cobra, whatever the fuck.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, by the time, like Chris is saying, by the time you're on the third shot and it's like literally 3 times bigger, you got to be like,
yeah.
all right, maybe this is not the road.
Yeah.
But apparently this is not how these guys felt because the partner starts unloading in this thing.
No.
And within moments, the still advancing bundle had grown until it loomed almost as tall as the horses themselves.
See, now you fucked up.
Because now you fucked up.
Yeah.
That's it's big.
At this point, you almost need like artillery, but even
and
then,
then
like
you're fucking up. At this
Yeah.
point, if you try to bring bigger guns, you are absolutely fucking
Yeah.
up.
I mean,
seemingly.
Like if
Okay.
you dropped an atomic bomb on this thing, it would
Isn't
absorb
this-
the world and
isn't this
attack
what, like-
Jupiter.
Isn't this like
Maybe.
what Godzilla does?
Only in a couple of incarnations.
Didn't this happen like in Shin Godzilla when
I
they had
think-
that whole plan where
I
they
think
had like
there's
ran
some
trains into him and
Garbage
everything?
new Godzilla mythology that we're not going
Okay.
to waste our time getting into, where every time you hurt him, he gets bigger, Hulk-like. I mean, I think the first shitty Hulk movie did that too.
I think it
every
did
time
too,
you
yeah.
hurt him, he gets a little bigger.
Well, his
That's
anger,
some garbage.
the angrier guy, the bigger he got.
To
Yeah.
me, this is non-canonical for either the Incredible Hulk and or the Grand Godzilla.
Okay, cool.
My moniker, not theirs.
Sweet.
Sorry, Toho. Okay, so it's as big as the fucking horses at this point, which is pretty big. I don't know a standard horse size, but they're essentially taller than the average guy, right?
Horses are pretty.
Horses are pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
I spend no time near horses. I'm trying to do my cowboy to horse ratio.
I haven't stood next to a horse in years.
I want to see Chris stand next to a horse, like Chris and a horse. And the
That's
horse
the
is
only
like,
way we can know.
measure how big is a horse next to Christopher quick.
I don't know.
Okay. So it's as big as the horses and completely blocking the watchman's path.
There's no way to escape.
Where was this path? On a dark and desolate sugarcane trail.
well,
I
of
just
course.
wanted to bring the audience back into where we
dude,
are.
now you're stuck.
It's dark. It's night. These sugarcane, they're tall.
Yeah.
They're rustling eerily in the
This
breeze.
thing's blocking your way.
You can't taste their inherent sweetness on the breeze. You
No.
just hear their evil. Not the sugarcane's evil, but I guess it is for tooth decay. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the evil sounds.
Yeah,
of
the evil sound of
smacking.
sugarcane.
I just got
Smacking
I got
sugarcane.
Yeah.
Somehow I got sugar canes confused with coca leaves, and I was about to make a cocaine joke, but
yeah,
I
no, it wasn't-
can't
it wasn't a
because
big
they're
coca
not,
leaf
They're not
pasture.
the same thing.
I wish you did. I wish you had said it so we could have just laughed.
I caught
Be
myself.
like, what the fuck are you talking about?
At this point, as we were just discussing, one can only imagine the sheer level of terror that these two men must have experienced confronting this unidentifiable, almost unthinkable creature. As so many of us would in a similar situation, they almost certainly feared the worst. It was at this moment where things did get worse. The horses began rearing up in a panic, and the petrified guards either dismounted or were thrown from their animals. It's not specific. All it was is they reared and they were off their horses.
Right.
Okay.
Damn.
Regardless of how they hit the ground, the men, fearing for their lives, fled the area and the ever-developing monster on foot, leaving their horses behind to fend for themselves.
Ooh.
It's the only
Do
thing
you
to do.
sacrifice? Well, you hope if the horses are panicking that
I'm
they're going to
surprised.
jet.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't book.
Yeah.
You'd think.
If they toss you or if you jump off, they're not going to just stand there.
I mean, this thing is probably taller than you.
Yeah, they're going to have
It's
to.
blocking the path. Your horses are terrified, so much so that either you can't manage to stay on them or you've been physically thrown from it,
Right,
or maybe
right.
one was one and
I'm
the other
think-
was
I'm
the
ho-
other.
I'm hoping that
you
they
got to get the
jetted,
fuck
yeah.
out of Dodge.
I'm
What choice
hoping
do you
that they
have?
jetted, yeah.
It's not difficult to surmise what must have happened next. Once back in the relative safety of their home or office, they surely had frantic and likely hushed discussions about what they had seen, where it might have come from, and in whom they should confide, if indeed anyone. Whatever the outcome of these discussions were, it seems obvious that they managed to keep their chilling secret for a very long time. The reason I say this is because the story was not reported until some decades later.
Right.
But let's wrap this up. Well, let's stop here and get in their shoes for one split second, and then I'm going to wrap it up for you. Any two of us, we're out fucking around, we see this thing. We're not armed, we're not guarding sugarcane, but in a comparable situation, we're cruising somewhere, we hit this thing that looks like a plain loaf of bread, and it's moving around like a goddamn scummy maggot, and then it just gets bigger and bigger when Mark backs up and continues to hit this fucking thing as he's wanting to
Because he
do.
doesn't understand it.
What do we do? What do you assume?
I guess because it is 1950 and you are in Cuba and you're guarding a sugarcane, you probably don't necessarily want to draw attention to yourself. not like a very open time where people are like, yes, no, let's be open-minded and discuss 14 animals and creatures of the unknown. So you don't want to come across like you're crazy.
Nobody wants to look crazy.
And I guess maybe, too, you don't want to draw any unneeded attention to yourself. So I could see why they would kind of sit on it and be like, let's not talk about it. It's one of those things that maybe you just have to kind of eat it and just deal with it, you know?
You might be onto it.
I mean, I think you might have to, unfortunately. I mean,
this does work out.
They did eventually just obviously
Pretty good.
tell the
They
tale.
told their family, apparently, and
Right.
it got spread somehow.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just thinking that night. I'm just thinking just purely that night. I'm fearing the worst. It's like the fucking blob. I'm going to assume
It's
that this
still
thing
out.
gets
It's-
bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
Does
and
it get bigger when it eats? I mean, there's no context for the blob in 1915, obviously.
Right.
That was still some 50
Yeah.
or whatever, 40 plus years away. But I would still be thinking, if every time, like if you punch this thing, does it grow 3 inches? If you shoot it, it doubles in
Well,
size.
and, you know, it's
That's
still out
weird.
If
there.
you drop an anvil on it, what happens? It's still out there.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Is it extraterrestrial? Is it oceanic part of the time? Because the only thing that I know that does that, besides the aforementioned snakes and a few other creatures, are like blowfish.
Yeah.
Things that expand to just terrify you, even though
If
it's a betrayal
Yeah.
of their actual size.
Right.
Let's bring this together, and then we'll just discuss our theories real quick. The next morning, the men, bolstered no doubt by the light of day, became concerned about the welfare of the horses that they had left as a barrier between themselves and the ever-enlarging blob-like beast. They need not have been concerned, however, as the animals were found soon after, wandering the fields apparently unharmed.
Thank God the
That's a quote.
horses are all right.
So either it's not
Well-
carnivorous, it had just eaten, or it just doesn't give a fuck about horse meat.
Right.
And it's just trying to scare these fuckers. So what was it that the 2 sugarcane patrolmen saw during their late night inspection? Was it some kind of strange atmospheric monster that fell to Earth? We've gone down that road a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Was it an alien from out of this world? Was it a cryptid? Was it something phantasmic? I don't know. But due to the time elapsed between the event and when it was reported, which was many years, we will likely never know the whole story. But the 2 things we know for sure are that this is one of the all-time weirdest critters ever chronicled, and that this thing, whatever it is or was, has an amazingly effective, albeit seemingly unearthly, defense mechanism. So that's the story.
So I guess
Sugar bundle.
out of the gate,
Sugar bundle.
what we have is there's nothing really saying if it is terrestrial or extraterrestrial.
Well, there's nothing on the land that does that
It's true there isn't.
that we know of.
That makes me
ever.
think oceanic.
And there's nothing amphibious that we know of that can do this. But then again, the oceans are vast, and maybe we
Right.
don't know everything that's amphibious.
I mean,
for
some
Cuba's an
reason-
island, which doesn't
Yeah.
mean that every the sugarcane wasn't necessarily like 300 yards from the beach or something.
Right.
And even if it was, I mean, I know we went down this road a little bit during the Kinderhook blob. Where
Yeah, blobs
we-
are
Oh,
a weird
yeah, I didn't
thing.
think about this. Or you know what? Actually, the Domston blobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some blobs,
We've
guys.
dealt with some
We got
blobs.
a
some
couple
blobs.
blobs, but at least some of them we knew the geography.
Yes.
So you can I don't know.
This seems more comparable to Kinderhook in that it clearly can change shape.
Okay.
The Kinderhook blob did not seemingly increase its size, at least in front of eyewitnesses, the way this thing did. But then again, we weren't. I mean, I think the people that went hunting for it were either kids walking through the woods or a guy with a pitchfork and a shovel, and they never really came close to it. So we don't know what the Kinderhook blob might have done if it was struck. Maybe it would have swollen up too. And again, maybe it is a defense mechanism. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's just how it grows. Like little Billy Blob needs a beating if he wants to grow up big and strong like his dad. I mean, we don't know the biology.
Wow.
Yeah, but that seems odd.
It sure as
that
fuck
seems
does.
Like there's
Like a-
things in nature that do blow up.
That's
for,
true.
For defense.
Right.
Like birds and shit do that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of animals puff up. Animals that are predated on. Well, not that cobras are predated on, really. They puff up just to look badass, too. So a lot of animals, I guess predators
Yeah.
and prey puff up
So-
to look bigger than they
in
are to
different
scare away
species,
things.
not just like fish. I mean, there's birds and mammals
So-
and all kinds of shit that are like,
True.
fuck off.
This is a defense mechanism that we see in nature, but this seems to be like to the nth degree where it gets as big as a horse.
Or bigger.
It starts off as a little a little sack of sugar, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, boom, it's comparable. It's towering over a horse.
Though they don't specifically say, and I have to admit I didn't take the time to research, early 20th century sugar sack sizes.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's assume it's about a foot
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I was thinking too.
10 inches or so.
Doesn't really say how
at
big
first,
it is.
I honestly thought
Like a
maybe
cloth
it
sack.
was like a creature in the guy, and like it was a creature that burrowed into the sack to eat it or something.
Unless
and
they
then
mean, though,
it was walking around.
That's
but,
interesting. That's an interesting theory, because what if it was because this is a plantation? And I've always assumed it was relatively small, like I just said, but if it's one of the selling sacks.
Yeah, if
like
it's a huge-
so if
of
it
course.
was 4.5 by 3.5 feet, with, 2 feet dense if it's full.
Yeah, totally.
That still is a lot to grow, to be that size, to being bigger than a
that's
horse.
ridiculous.
And it doesn't say, and here's where it gets frustrating with these like scant tales from the past. Like, is it growing in girth? Is it just getting longer, like one of those fucking shitty 4th of July snakes?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
just unfathomably longer.
In my
but
mind, it's growing equal.
in my mind too.
It's growing up.
In my
yeah.
mind, it's like this horrible cauliflower that's like blossoming out, sort of like this heinous attacking
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, if it was some sort of like atmospheric, if you're talking like a sky spitter or like whatever kind
one of those
other,
amoeba things that guy said are walking around and
the
occasionally eat
ether
people
or whatever. Yeah,
Etherean bullshit.
If it was one of those things, then but I mean, we don't really have a lot of information on that because it gets a little suspect.
Well, no.
But I mean, if it was, and for some reason it happened to,
Just being
you know,
sugar fields and
just happened to come down.
Well, I mean,
and
if they come down, if they come down because they're sick, they're dying, or they lost a good breeze, if they work on kite technology parameters,
we call
would
that wind.
suck. Yeah, all right,
it
fine.
works on wind.
if it is wind bound, then occasionally they could probably come down. I don't think any of that is
Right.
true, because they would be
Well,
all the time falling down. But
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to work with here. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's hard to misidentify something like this. That's the thing.
well,
It's really
I do
hard.
have an idea that takes us way, way back to elementary school, and it's a game I used to fucking love. Never really liked gym class much, but I used to love this, and that was there's a parachute, and everyone goes around and billows it up,
Oh,
and
yeah, I
somebody
remember that.
runs over.
Yeah.
Well, parachutes existed. What if a parachute is for some reason, who knows what? I mean, this is obviously way pre-revolution, landed somewhere, threw their fucking parachute away in the sugarcane field. If this thing is being caught on a breeze and just comes out a little bit from the sugarcane field into the path, it might look like an undulating thing about the size
And
of a sugar sack.
if you're
and
shooting
if you keep
at
shooting
it-
it and knocking it into the air, and then more breeze catches it, and it just gets fatter and fatter
Yeah.
until it's a giant fucking and
Man.
it's nighttime, and you're scared, and Mark and Chris are on their horses patrolling the field.
Man, I wanted it to be a sky amoeba. Now it's not.
Yeah, I
it's a
don't-
parachute.
It might. That's actually just as dumb. Though.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't know, but I had an idea that was something similar to that. But it might actually, if it is a living thing, it may have just appeared to them. It was at night, remember, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
it may have just appeared like it was actually looking bigger when really it was just spreading out. So the field, it looked like it was growing. It was actually growing. It just like if it's a certain size and it decides to flatten out a bit and get thin, but just spread its mass to look like it's getting bigger.
Oh, I see what you're
but it's
saying,
not
yeah.
really
Which again
getting,
is sort of like what
Right.
a puffer fish would do, or
sure,
any
but,
other
but it's
thing.
not really puffing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just spreading
so
its
you're saying
dimensions
if this thing is
out.
like, and this is a horrible example, but like it's basic biology is the shape of a piece of plywood, and it's coming at you, and all you see is this narrow, tall thing.
Right.
But then it starts turning, and all of a sudden this plywood monster
looks
is
like it's getting
vast and
bigger,
wide.
yeah.
Sort of, I guess. It's like, it's not like actually it's changing.
But what shape are you saying you think this thing could be?
I don't know.
I mean,
I
they
just have
said,
no
they
idea.
said it was a blob.
They
So
said it looked like a sack,
If it-
which
yeah.
looks
If
like
it
a
was
blob.
An
but-
circular-
Actually, let's be specific. An off-white sack.
yeah.
Not necessarily circular. I mean, in fact, what you could assume is bulkily rectangular.
Yeah, totally.
Unless they just,
Ish,
I
yeah.
mean, but maybe it wasn't rectangular sacks. Like I'm thinking mulch at fucking, Lowe's or something. It
Yeah.
could be just like a Santa sack.
Right.
And
Yeah.
therefore it could have been a bag full of puppies.
It could.
could have been any number of fucking horrible
Oh my
things.
God! It was Santa sack. It got lost.
Oh, see,
it has its own defense mechanism.
That actually makes sense.
I like that. There
You
you go.
have to return to the one and only claws.
Yeah.
You can't
Right.
let like
It's got
grubby
elven
human
magic.
hands.
You can't shoot
Yeah.
Santa sack. It gets big and eats you.
All we know is it happened in 1915. We don't have a month or a night.
No. So I think this is going to be a little bit hard to nail down.
So it's Santa's big fat
so
sack.
Santa's big fat sack.
It's
It's terrible.
space amoeba.
Yeah.
I guess rogue plywood.
Okay.
A
That's from
parachute,
plywood, but
or a heretofore unknown, exponentially puffy thing.
I want it to be a sky amoeba or something from some sort of unknown oceanic creature, but unfortunately, I think I'm going to go with your theory that it was more just a misidentified, not necessarily
Piece of
parachute,
fabric?
but anything. Yeah, kind of like the Kinderhook.
Mrs. O'Leary's fucking sheet.
Mrs. O'Leary in Cuba. Yes, exactly.
Dude, there was an Irish contingent in Cuba.
I'm
Don't
sure.
be hating.
Kinda
There was
like-
parachute makers
Kind of
right next to the
we're gonna
sugarcane
make
field.
the parachutes. Although I think didn't we say that the Kinderhook blob was? Then we said that it was like
That was a seagull.
in a bag.
We can't keep
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that. That was a seagull
was
in
a
a bed
seagull in a
sheet
bag,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
All
No.
right. So what do you guys think it is?
I don't know. I know
All right.
it's mysterious. I almost want to buy what these guys saw was something more than just a piece of fucking fabric, because it's fun to go there as a skeptic. The reason I say parachute is because you fill that with air, it changes shape immediately, and you could be startled. But I really don't necessarily think it's that. I think you're just walking around at night. You're expecting maybe sugar bandits. I don't fucking know. I really, the guys who try to steal
There's
Cookie
got to be
Crisp.
sugar pirates.
Yeah, sugar pirates. But in lieu of sugar pirates, you run into this fucking strange undulating thing that to me is sort of almost like a dead body in a muslin shroud or something. And you're just like, oh, what are you? Then it comes towards you. Then fucking you shoot it, and it gets bigger and bigger, and it's just like, all right, this is fucked up. But it doesn't seem to be aggressive. It seems like it was curious, maybe. It was certainly responding physically to the interactions, the violent interactions it had with the human beings, but not necessarily in a way.
Yeah,
That
it
seemed,
didn't lunge
destructive.
or anything at anybody.
Maybe it was there just to eat sugar. Maybe that was its thing. You know,
Maybe that's what sky amoebas do.
got a sweet. Yeah, sky amoeba
They got a sweet tooth.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right, that's what
All
I'm
right,
heading with.
cool.
Okay.
Christopher, any closing thoughts on this?
No, I don't.
Nothing. No,
It's
no,
not
I
a
don't.
gigantic sugar maggot.
I know that we,
But it could be, I guess.
gigantic sugar maggot.
Oh, I would totally. But honestly,
no.
if Kellogg released giant sugar maggots, I would totally fucking eat it.
frosted sugar
Yeah,
maggots.
it'd be like little crisps with fucking sugar maggot
God.
marshmallows. Oh, it'd be awesome.
I unfortunately.
And horses going wild because they're terrified. Those would be the two kinds of marshmallows: sugar maggots and horses.
All
Wild
the horses are the
stallions.
marshmallows.
Yeah.
God, it makes my mouth water and get
Sugar
all salty.
maggots.
Well,
Like I
don't eat
gotta
a sugar
feel-
maggot then. Leave it more for me and
Jesus.
Chris.
I unfortunately I run into maggots at work in a pretty regular.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's really gross. Especially when you're like, oh, is that barrel full of rice? No, it's not.
Why would there
would-
ever be a
yeah.
barrel full of rice where you work?
After 10 years, you want it to be something that's not a wiggling mass of maggots because it's just so disgusting.
That was just hope and dreams
That's
talking.
the world
It
you
is.
live in.
That is the world that I.
Welcome to maggots.
Welcome to Maggotville. There you go. All right, cool. So as per the 2-bag Monday surprise fun. That's right. I said
The surprise
that.
fun of
The
fun.
surprise
I
fun
love
of
it.
fun.
Perfectly stated.
It is the Monday mystery 2-bagger or something along those lines.
Two-fisted.
Mother approved.
Four-fingered.
There we go.
Mother approved.
All right, so we are continuing on with the Gargantuan Globulous. In the autumn of 1965, 3 Argentinian school children had a strange encounter with a huge rotund monstrosity that is quite unlike anything that has ever been reported in the history of cryptozoology.
Whoa.
Oh,
Facts.
all right.
This one, you can tell when it was named. When I was digging out my moniker, I was obviously thinking a lot about G.I. Joe, the animated movie from...
Oh, with Globulous and Nemesis
Globulous,
Enforcer, yeah, dude.
absolutely. So I was just dying to see that word in print again, I think. And hence.
Yeah.
Although details regarding this potentially groundbreaking case are regrettably spare, what we do know is that on October 5th, 1965, Buenos Aires newspaper La Crónica Matutina published a tantalizing account of a brief yet utterly bizarre run-in that a trio of pupils claimed to have had with a gigantic, round, non-humanoid entity near the Argentinian National School 982, located in Puerto Beltran in the rural district of Laredo. So we got all the facts there. We
Okay,
got
that's
the
a
day,
lot, yeah.
We got the number
Yeah.
of the school.
982.
We don't have the
982.
names of the kids, but they were kids, so maybe they were, put aside to protect. No, they weren't. I have them right here.
So,
My bad.
Jesus.
I told you I had a tough weekend.
this is the twist.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. According to the newspaper report, the students, Luis Ramirez, Maria Abella Cabana, and Rosa Carbajal, were walking to get water from a reservoir tank located on the school's northern Argentinian property on the morning of October 4th, 1965, when they spied an evidently animate entity that simply rolled on the ground, that's a quote, in front of them. So first off,
You just
when your
rolled.
fucking drinking fountain
You gotta
is
walk
way
to get
over
your
in
water.
the north
Yeah.
part of the property, like you have to
yeah,
go
I
to
mean,
like a vat
reservoir
that collects
to-
fucking
yeah.
rain.
If that's is it a well or is it?
Well, it's a reservoir.
Okay, yes. All right, yeah, that's wow.
A reservoir tank.
Okay.
So it was just located on the school's property.
So this
apparently,
thing, so something's just rolling around.
65. So it's weird.
Around non-humanoid
A non-
as opposed to
Well, I guess
around humanoid.
as opposed to John Goodman doing somersault. That would be a slightly rounded humanoid.
He's tiny
the
now.
Stay Puft
All
Marshmallow
right, then
Man.
I'm not even trying to pick on anyone big. Anyone doing somersaults.
Okay.
Me doing somersaults, it would still be humanoid.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing roll around shits.
Okay.
This is non-humanoid.
So it's just a
So
round
it's
thing.
anything but.
Anything but a human is a humanoid.
There it is.
What?
I did. You just got Chopra'd.
Yeah.
The bizarre creature spun in circles around the undoubtedly stunned children like a live-action version of Warner Brothers' Tasmanian Devil. The kids noted that the apparent speed and strength that this whirling dervish had was so profound that it was able to penetrate the hard ground, kicking up a tremendous amount of dirt before it. So it's actually
That sounds
gouging
more
into
like
the
Sonic.
fucking ground.
It's like Sonic.
Sonic the
yeah.
Hedgehog.
Yeah. It goes. Zzz.
But it's rolling more than spinning, even though I created the analogy of the
Right,
like
right.
imagine a sideways Tasmanian devil.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's more accurate.
All right.
Although the rate at which the living dust devil rotated was simply too fast for the children to make out any distinct physical characteristics, the three agreed that whatever it may have been, it was definitely alive and not some sort of natural or meteorological phenomenon. So, of course, when I first read the story, I was tempted to think it's just one of those fucking dust devils. It hits the ground, spins up some dirt, whips
Yeah.
around. Maybe it's a mini tornado if it's actually tearing up clumps of sod or
Right.
dirt or whatever.
3-foot tornado. Yeah.
But it's a round, large,
Huh.
Yeah.
apparently alive.
They see a thing before there's
It's
that
yeah,
action.
like it rolled in and then like zzz, sped up and
then
just
just-
like tearing ass all around him.
Weird. Okay.
Maybe it was going for the water. Maybe it was thirsty too.
Could have been. Maybe it was like a maneuver around the kids that get away from me.
Or maybe it was corralling them for predation purposes.
Yeah, to eat them.
Gotta always leave eating the kids on the table.
Here's what you do.
The kids stared in disbelief and horror as the thing seemed to be corralling them, coming closer and closer until it, and here's the quote, mysteriously vanished in a cloud of dust, apparently never to be seen or at least reported again.
So this thing just phases out of
Just
reality.
phases out.
It's spun
big,
into
it's spinning,
non-existence.
It's going around. It's digging up
And then all of a
dirt.
sudden,
They're
zoop,
fucking getting
gone.
shit all over their school uniforms. I assume it's 65 that were wearing school uniforms.
Weird.
Due to the fact that this entity, whatever it may have been, disappeared into thin air, some have speculated that this being might be an interdimensional being that has the ability to traverse the evidently membranous borders between two vastly different dimensions, which could well coexist mere millimeters apart. Now, that's a theory that's out there. I'm not saying it's
Okay.
the one I support, but I felt like I should include it. So here it is.
So it's kind of like
Super
a Flash?
brief, super intense. Yeah, but round. Like if
Right.
the Flash were a mad ball,
Right.
and it could spin super fast, and
It's a
you
good
could
band.
sense. I mean, when they see things on it that they say this is alive, is it lumps? Does it look like that weird?
Does it have
Yeah,
eyes
they don't
and
say. They
legs?
just say
Like-
rolled in, and then all of a
Rolled in.
sudden it starts spinning fast and digging up shit.
Right.
Kicking around? Maybe it wants to play.
And it seemed to move toward them a little bit.
Yes.
Like it was corralling them.
Sort, I guess.
Well, they're in the middle of this like part of the fucking field or whatever outside of the school, maybe a good bit away from the school for all we know, heading toward what I inevitably see as like a rusty, shitty rain catcher,
Right.
to get a drink of water, and then from nowhere, I mean, we don't know if there's woods nearby or a field or what or a pond.
Yeah,
Who the fuck knows?
it doesn't
This
say.
thing comes rolling out, and they're like, the fuck, and then it just gathers speed, comes around and around, kicking up dirt, kicking up dust. And then just as it's coming in for a close,
Just zoop gone. Huh. Weird.
if-
and it's just a cloud that
floofies.
eventually
Yeah.
settles, and it's just the kids and their fucking tail that they apparently ran right back, told their teacher, told their cohorts at school, and
Right.
the newspaper got a hold of it and became a thing.
Well, obviously I have to go there, and that's going to be The Whimsy of a Child,
The Whimsy of a Child.
my upcoming audiobook. It was going to be a self-published book, but I decided to do audio. It's
the
much
whimsy
cheaper.
of a children.
The Whimsy of a Child by Mark Storrs.
So explain to us the theory behind a whimsy of a child again.
I wonder.
But there's 3 of them.
Well, it's true. There's 3 of them that maybe they may have made this up.
So it's kids
or-
lie.
Kids
That's
like
the
to follow
subtitle.
kids, though. That's the deal.
Kids lie or kids embellish or kids just have great imaginations that we shouldn't stifle, that we should actually encourage.
So what you're suggesting is the ringleader,
Right.
little Sally, we'll call
Yeah.
her. She says, guys, phenomenal idea.
Mean as a bag of nails.
Let's just fucking tell everyone a roly-poly nightmare came in.
Spawn.
That's why we got all
There you
dirty,
go.
not because we were playing around when we were supposed to be just getting a drink.
Yep.
And we're explaining it away by a swirling monster that disappeared in a flash of dust.
There you go.
Tell your parents, call the reporters.
65, was that, was the Tasmanian Devil around in 65?
Yeah, I think that cartoon had been around
Pretty
for longer
sure.
than
Probably.
that.
But he was.
I think it was
They would
since
have- so
the
they-
50s.
they
at
would
least.
have
he was
a-
humanoid, though.
They would
40s
have
maybe.
they would have a point of reference there.
But bear in mind, they didn't describe it like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, it was a ball.
I did. Yeah.
Right, but
Not a ball,
we
but
can
it was
always
round.
we can always put the children are liars out there on the table.
Because
Not-
first, what does this in nature? Nothing
exactly
that I know of
nothing at all.
on land.
No.
Well, first off, let's
Hedgehogs don't
rack
move that fast.
our mind really quick and think.
Yeah.
How many round fucking animals do we know?
Hedgehog.
It's
pretty
portly.
fucking round.
It's portly.
All right.
I don't know if I'd call
Yeah.
it round.
What else goes into a ball? Armadillos.
Yeah,
Ar-
armadillo.
Oh yeah.
So if
wait,
it was
wait,
a
pangolin?
hyperdillo,
Pangolin.
A megadillo?
yeah, a hypermegadillo
Megadillo. Whoa.
that spins so fast.
We had that whole thing where I
Tucked in.
didn't know what a pangolin was.
Yes,
but
the pangolin.
Okay, but a pangolin.
They can curl up.
Okay.
They have the keratin scales that protect them,
Cool,
though, of
cool.
course,
And they are
people are
bulletproof?
murdering them. They are not bulletproof. They are dying left and right because they supposedly give people boners, which they do not. Get some Viagra and give up on it.
Oh no.
They're being murdered off the face of the earth because of their boner-giving qualities, which doesn't even work.
So is it an armadillo that's supposed to
Well,
be
armadillos are in
bulletproof?
South America.
Okay.
And
They are.
pangolins, I know they're in Asia and Africa. I do not believe they're in South America.
So an armadillo.
It's
so
not
nothing-
a fucking
nothing-
armadillo, but it is something that curls up into a ball. So maybe it's something else that can form a ball out of its body for protection. But then you got to wonder what kind of locomotion would it have?
Does anything have a, like you said, does anything move at all? Not to the speed, but actually travel like that. Besides, I can't think of anything that would even
Nothing. No.
The legendary
nothing
Wild
goes
West
like a
hoop
ball.
snake?
Nothing just
Yeah,
travels like
there's
a ball.
nothing that
the ball
travels.
is usually the defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Unless it was on a hill,
Right.
it rolled down a hill, and just
Yeah.
it happened upon a dust devil.
Right.
And it just all,
yeah.
All right,
all
so
came together.
What Chris is doing is a confluence of three things that could have happened.
Exactly.
A particularly large armadillo,
Yeah.
and they do
Right.
get pretty big.
It was a megadillo.
A megadillo.
Okay, you got a megadillo. You got a real windy day with little bits of dust devils that are
Yeah.
kind of turning into semi-tiny cyclones.
Right.
And you had a very scared megadillo on a hillside with a coyote. Said coyote approaches. He goes into ball form. Isn't expecting that he's on the edge of a really steep precipice.
Okay.
Flies down. As he's heading down, the kids are just heading up the hill to get a drink.
It's windy. It
And don't
blows him
forget the
down.
entire
Exactly.
time the kids are lying to each other and their parents and everybody
well,
around them.
they're exaggerating its size. Maybe
No,
it's
I mean
like
just in
3
general,
feet.
they're lying on 24/7.
Well, yeah, kids lie.
That's what
but
they
that's
do.
not relevant.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because this actually happened.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Really,
Cool.
it's in the paper, dude.
So
And it was narrated all by Sam the Sandown Space Ghost Clown. Ghost Space Clown. I always forgot. Ghost Clown.
are you there?
Hey guys,
You still there?
Anyone
Are you
there?
Yeah.
You know.
Call back.
So I wonder. All right. So interdimensionally speaking, it's a leap, and I do enjoy that leap, but
You love the interdimensionals.
yeah, but the problem with the interdimensional leap is that you don't want to go there all the time. You got to kind of save it. It's your wild card. You got to save it.
Except that every
You gotta
time
save
it gets brought up pretty much.
How long have you been saving? If that's your ace in the hole, you've
Well,
been playing the fuck out of that card.
We bring it up as a possibility, but we can't pin it on everything. It's got to, I think, meet certain criteria.
well, I will say this,
And I don't think this has the criteria to meet it.
I
As
don't
the
know what
interdimensional guy.
is your criteria. Then let's break this down because if
Veronish.
disappearing into fucking thin air.
Veronish is the criteria. I think the Casablanca is the criteria, and I think besides possible child murderer, Sam the Sandown Ghost Clown could also.
So
be
it has to be
criteria.
semi-humanoid, weird, and have an ability to communicate in some
No,
fashion.
I think that just every aspect of the story has to come together completely for it to be considered possible interdimensional.
I think we have to.
Yeah, I don't
we
know
have
what
to
that
rule
means.
things out.
Okay.
I don't think it could be a. Let's just assume that the kids are telling the truth this one time in their shitty little lives.
Okay.
Just this one time.
Wow, Jesus, all right.
In their garbage-faced
Judge
lying
your
lives.
tribes.
This is the one fucking time they were coming clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
All right,
is the
so-
last time they ever will.
So with that understanding, I can't say cryptid because
No, I can't either.
Even if it was a confluence of all sorts of things, it would literally have to be some weird like armadillo or some other strange kind of entity knockoff that rolled down a hill, like Chris said, in the middle of a fucking windstorm to create this illusion, and that maybe enough dust got in the kid's eyes and the kid just sprang, or the creature sprang up and hid behind the reservoir, and they're like, it's gone, it disappeared, and they ran away in a panic without ever looking behind the reservoir where it was hidden. But I still don't think there's anything biological that we've even heard legend of, much less official reports of.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like
that
anything.
covers that.
Right.
No indication that it could be extraterrestrial.
No.
You can't rule it out 100%, as you never can, but...
It could even possibly be something paranormal.
Well, all right, so...
Could be.
I mean,
Forest spirit.
I don't know Argentinian legends that well. I know there's like El Cuero, which is like the leather or something. Maybe something we'll do in the future, but this weird floating stingray...
Ooh.
Proboscis having flesh-eating hell-spawn nightmare. But this is not it.
No.
This is fucking round, apparently.
Yep.
It is not humanoid, but it is not necessarily... I mean, does it have little... Is it like a millipede?
The
What are those
description
fucking bugs
doesn't
that ball up?
I
And
know
they
what
have
you're
all those
talking
little
about.
scumbagulon
Isn't it
legs.
like
Those are like
Isn't it
potato
like
bugs or something.
Potato bugs do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it is just like a super
Some beetles,
insectoid?
though,
Yeah, I was gonna
beetles
say,
do that
it
and
could
stuff.
be a giant insect.
So
And
it's
if it
either
needs to propel itself,
Right.
maybe all these little goddamn flailing legs are propelling it in a constant
Yeah.
circle, because otherwise you have no propulsion method.
No, you have no way to move.
I'm more concentrating on what can make something spin as fast as they claim it spawned to kick up.
I mean,
That's
to,
just not a
to
natural
break the dirt.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There's only one thing. An Evel Knievel bike where you rip the cord through the back. You're
oh
like, zip.
yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That's the one thing on Earth
That
that
can
can
do
achieve
this.
that kind of speed. 1977 Evel Knievel ripcord bike
But
jump.
this was 65, so
So it's not there.
unless it time traveled back. Oh,
Fair enough.
there you go.
Oh, it's
No,
not so
but-
fast it went.
Yeah, it went. It pulled the Barry Allen. It ran from its problems. It solved its problems.
Oh,
and, it had
we're
to
in
go, and
Flashpoint.
then it went
Fuck.
back. And then went back and haven't fucked him up again. We call that the Barry Allen.
What could really do this?
I don't know.
Nothing. I can't think of anything at all.
Because
Unless
the
you say it
ball-
was something that gained momentum coming down
Although
a hill.
being well, or if like you're
Ridiculous
saying,
as it sounds.
atmospherically speaking, if it was some sort of like little atmospheric anomaly that just kind of popped down and like a little tornado kind of ripped around.
So
but they
something
see
gets-
something.
Yeah, but
there.
what's
gets
the
picked
ball?
up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is maybe something got picked
Like
up.
one of those ratty ass like third world soccer balls that has had all the logos
Yeah.
and
Oh, I see.
bullshit
Oh.
ripped off it, so it looks like a
That would
ball
make
of
more
leather,
sense.
It looks like
like a
Wilson
shitty
from
little
Castaway.
beat up,
Yeah.
flappy skin. Maybe it looks like armor
Could
the way
be.
it's flapping, or maybe it looks like it has wings even. And
Is
if
there-
that's caught in a little cyclone
I
or
mean-
a little tornado,
Is there any
Yeah, that's true.
any cryptids that at all fit this description?
nothing that I know
anywhere?
of. Nothing in terms
Right.
of spinning fast and rotund.
Right.
Nothing that I know of.
But even rotund, I mean, how big is it? Are they
Well,
saying?
all right,
It's a
I would be the first to admit.
because it's a
When I
it's
wrote this,
gargantuan.
I was being hyperbolic.
Okay.
I don't think it was gargantuan in the sense that it was like a fucking 747 or even a Mack truck cab. It was probably gargantuan compared to other things I've seen roll.
Two little lying children.
Too little what?
It was gargantuan in comparison to little lying children.
Little lying children,
Little lying
yes.
children.
Only when compared to small, deceitful tots.
I know.
So we don't have a specific size. Let's establish
Okay.
this. It was large enough, and gargantuan sounded good with globulous, and I fucking did
You
it. I
did
just
the
pulled
double
the fucking
G.
trigger.
I like it.
And,
It's
you
not.
know,
It's not
but
bad.
it's not my
good.
proudest scientific moment, but goddamn it, I'm also a writer, so that's
Listen,
what I did.
Robert. Science aside, we need to get the people clicking on those Google ads.
True that.
So this is where I
Oh,
step in and I
jeez.
say, "Good job, Robert. Get people to keep clicking those ads." And also, people, don't leave shitty comments on Cryptopia. Just saying, because no one's going to respond to them.
That's true.
There you go.
That's also true. Nice ones probably won't respond either.
I won't respond
regularly
either.
check.
Yeah, no one's going to get
But we're going
responses.
to continue to
on
write,
Cryptopia.
and that's what matters, huh?
Just click the
We're a
goddamn.
bare bones
do
operation.
Do us a solid and click the banners. Anyway,
Okay.
So
We don't know.
we don't know. No, I honestly, I'm at a complete
Yeah.
loss. I don't want to end this with that kids are liars, because I think we have to give it a little bit more process than that.
All my joking aside, I think I have more faith than you in the
You probably
inherent
do, yeah.
honesty of children.
Yeah,
now, I
you do.
know they can make shit up. I know they can be supremely imaginative. I know they can weave sordid tales that barely hinge on anything that resembles reality to the rest of us. Yet, I still think if a kid's freaked out enough or if they see something that really blew them away, there might be some exaggeration. There might be some misrepresentation in that they don't know how to represent what they've seen. But I think if it's something harrowing enough, they're probably going to do their damnedest to represent what they saw. Not always.
Well, so I'm not going to say that it's kids making it up. What I'm going to say is that maybe it was some sort of atmospheric anomaly, weather condition that happened.
But what gives it form? I mean, I know we talked about the Wilson soccer ball and other things, but really something light enough to be carried on the wind, to be moving, to be basically round in shape.
It was a crumpled parachute. Just like
my gosh!
Just like
the double
the
sugar bundle return.
It's a parachute.
It would traveled across the ocean from 1915 to Argentina.
It was.
Figure where Cuba
it's a short
is.
50 years.
Yeah, that's a short travel.
Fucking parachute.
Got caught in the jungles, whipped around the sugarcane fields for a while, hit the ocean.
I would actually be interested to know if anybody was actually there to witness the ground damage.
See, that's what I would love. Like, if we could find, and I of course have looked, but then again, I don't always find what I'm looking for. Actual photographs, even of just the children to accompany the article. Yeah. I mean, we have their names. We have the specific school, the very day it happened. Yep. It was taken with more than a grain of salt, obviously. I mean, I don't know how responsible that newspaper is. I don't know if it's Argentina's equivalent of National Geographic or if it's semi-legit, but it sounds like a legit newspaper.
Like World News.
Yeah, Weekly World News type shit. As fun as that is. But it just seems like a normal newspaper. So if they thought it was worthy of at least writing about, then somebody must have seen something, or at least kind of like... what was it, Jose Cantu with the Cycloptic Aliens of Hurrah, where all the teachers stood up and said, he's a stand-up kid. He wouldn't fuck around. Jose's the man. No, he's not lying, even though his story was patently absurd. Yep. Maybe it was a situation like this where their teachers and other adults or parents vouched for them. Yeah. But then I would still love, because how hard would it be? You just send a photographer out to the school.
Just to get a picture of it,
let's see the dirt. Let's just see where the dirt got kicked up. But if it happened, we don't know.
Well, I'm not sure what to do with this one, so I'm just going to pass it to you. Because I'm thinking the kids are lying. I'm thinking it's an atmospheric. Maybe it's some kind of weird unknown insectoid. I don't know. I got nothing.
An atmospheric thing
could have been
makes
the goddamn
sense.
Tasmanian devil.
No,
for all
I
we
know. I'm kind of leading toward that one.
A little tornado can gouge ground, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. A miniature, adorable tornado.
But that doesn't
corralling
explain
lying children. There you go.
It's true. Fucking corralling them towards the truth.
Yeah.
For once.
Trying to get them to fucking straighten up.
But I kind of, even though it's completely out there, I'm not going to say I want to hang my hat on it, but I don't mind leaning towards something, like you were saying, entomological, something in the bug world, because it's one of the few things that can do that, like fold in on itself for protection. It has like a hollow exoskeleton if it's something that can fly. I mean, maybe when it folded up, it was really the size of a bowling ball or something. It was caught up in this wind, this natural wind.
I don't want to take the megadillo off the table.
Well, you can't take the megadillo completely off the table.
No, I mean you can't. I mean, movement wise, I guess like Chris, like you guys were saying, if it went down a hill, like and it's got some wicked speed, like it was gonna hit a sweet ramp and jump, but it didn't. So,
well, no, if it's in the windstorm.
It's true. If it's in the windstorm, it's a confluence of things right there to happen.
Around.
Yeah. Could be. All right, Christopher, what do you got?
A storm of armadillos.
Oh no! An entire storm of armadillos that descends upon lying children because they lie so much. It was actually sent from the devil. That's what it is.
And in sheer terror, they clung to each other, creating the ultradillo.
It's like a megadillo.
Hence, Gargantuan Globulous.
Ultradillo. Yeah, isn't that like what the all those Sentai shows? Isn't that what they do? And they all
they pull
like a Megazord.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the American.
Okay, all right. We won't talk about the American. You're right. The Japanese
we're not going to go there.
Superior. So, all right. I guess we're at a complete loss for everything here, aren't we?
Well, they're two befuddling tales.
They are.
Yeah,
that's
just
why
not enough.
We paired them up.
That's why. Oh, there you go. That's why we bring them together. There you go.
Just unique, and I mean, I guess it's Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Southern Hemisphere. I don't know where the actual hemisphere line is. I think Cuba dips below. I can't really be sure.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm American. I'm not really supposed to know these things.
How do those work? What do we do?
They're lines somewhere on a map.
But I mean, when you get there, like, what happens?
Nothing.
Nothing. You just,
I think water spins the other way.
You cross. Oh, what is that called? The Oriole.
Aureolus.
I can't remember.
Oreo dipping.
I saw this in an episode of The
Coriolis.
Simpsons. Remember?
Yeah,
Coriolis. It was on the episode of The Simpsons when they called Australia about the water going
But is that
backwards.
really even true?
I don't know. And I don't even want to entertain that idea because I know for a fact that we have listeners in Australia, 2 of which I talked to today. So I don't want to be like, hey, guys,
which
you
way
wanna
does your
go
water
backwards?
spin?
Yeah. Like, wow, Mark, you're a stupid asshole. Congratulations.
If you asked me right fucking now which way our water spins, I couldn't tell you. Like, I don't know what direction water goes down.
I mean, I don't
I washed
necessarily...
my hands 5 minutes ago.
It doesn't really
after I
impact my
pissed.
life. It could go straight down as long as it doesn't come
Yeah.
out of the toilet. I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't know who knows this.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's beyond our science.
We listen. This our podcast. We cannot be responsible for such.
We don't even
things.
know what goddamn hemispheres we're talking
We don't
about.
even know where we are.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're in the northern quadrant.
Well,
I think we're northwestern. I think we are.
We had a listener.
It's New York.
We had a listener question hell or space. Either of those 2 things being real. So at this point, I don't even know what to even believe anymore. Honestly,
You know,
are
it's-
we even here? Who are you?
It is
What do we
enough-
do?
Who are you?
Let
are
us
you?
just
Who are
let
you?
us grasp at the truth of each other and let us be our life raft.
Yeah.
There. Oh,
Let us
see?
be the quantum truth for you.
Nice.
Yeah, we're in your lives, so we're real.
You are my quantum truth. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Robert. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this week's episode of the Cryptonaut Podcast. As always, ratings and reviews. Stick around a little bit. We're going to go over some from you good listeners, so be sure to leave those in the iTunes, the Apple Podcast apps. It is greatly appreciated.
Every time.
Social medias,
Fudge.
Instagrams, Instagrams, Facebooks, and Twitters, not iTunes. Hit us up there, like, comment, follow, share, do all kinds of fun stuff. And we're there, we're talking, we're hanging out, having a good time, posting up fun pictures.
All the time.
And we got
Sometimes.
Insta stories that are super fun. I love Insta stories. They're
You build these things.
I do the Insta stories. Yeah, they're fun.
They're adorable.
I do. They are a good
Well
time.
done.
So thank you all, and we're talking to you soon.
Bye.
Oh, be careful of that which rotates. Fear it mightily.
In children that lie.
If it grows and or rotates and or it's a small child, it's lying to you.
Yeah.
And it's
Stay out of the wind.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Stay out of the wind.
Also, to be sure, on Netflix to watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's awesome.
Oh really?
It's really good.
That is a strange
it's better
endorsement.
than the Hill House.
Peace. All right, cool. Thank you for sticking around for the ratings and reviews. And we're going to get started off here with the iTunes and the Apple Podcast. Listen or beware, 5 stars from Nikki Wonkenstein.
Oh, a phenomenal name.
There you go.
And B, what are we being warned from?
Yeah.
All will heed and revere the words of the Cryptonauts, for these 3 prophets are the heroes the Fortean culture deserves.
Oh shit.
Be wowed by the in-depth study. Gasp at the charming and witty banter. Prepare your psyche for the metal band references so niche that your puny metal palate will tremble.
Oh, my God.
You've been warned. Heed the Cryptonauts or be subjected to mercies of the sadistic Big Lou, whom would no doubt chastise your lack of good judgment. Nikki
That is
Walkenstein.
just fucking
I want that on a fucking
phenomenal.
poster.
Yeah, Nikki,
Yeah.
that rules. So
No, that testament.
Thank you.
If I don't get
Jesus.
it tattooed, I'm at least putting it on my bedside.
There you go. All right, continuing
Lord.
on here. We got Fantastic Cryptid Podcast, 5 stars, R Stareem. Fuel for writing TRPGs and nightmares. The creatures that this podcast covers tend to be more obscure and in-depth than any other cryptid show. The guys have wonderful chemistry and bounce off each other in hilarious and sometimes unexpected ways. I may be a skeptic in most things, but I will never be skeptical about this pod's quality.
Aw,
Excellent.
thank you.
Jolly good fun, 5 stars. Beetle. This podcast is one of my favorite listens for my morning commute. I've learned about so many obscure cryptids, Vegetable Man, Moss Man, stuff that no one else has covered. The guys are hilarious. Seriously, anyone that badmouths this podcast, I will only pray that the Owl Man shows up to your door one night, well, not really. Well, yeah, kind of. Five stars.
The awkward flapping of the owl man.
There you go. So thank you all for your 5-star reviews.
You.
I'm going to hand this over to Rob, and he's going to do some reviews on the old Facebook. So, Rob,
sure as the dills
what do we got?
What we have here is Saul Hernandez. This podcast is more like a PSA that pushes you to question and remember those childhood nights in which you could swear you saw a mysterious light outside your window or a set of eyes in the woods your mother told you was just a coyote. Great show, very interesting and informative, and well written, by the way, Saul. If you ever need translations, Spanish is my first language, aspiring paranormal investigator eager to help spread the news, and there's more than Bigfoot out there to the average person. Thank you, Saul. Thank you for the offer, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fucking kind words, secondly.
Yeah, totally.
And you know what? Absolutely. I'm always looking for people that can help me translate shit because I am
actually,
monolingual.
I talked to him.
Yeah.
I spoke with him, I think, last week on Instagram. So yeah, man, if we need anything, we'll definitely hit you up for some translations. Totally.
Totes.
Yeah,
And thank you
definitely.
again for the offer.
Yeah, thanks. That's awesome.
The next review comes to us from Rob Christofferson.
Oh, our buddy Rob, what's happening, man? Actually, he's coming back with his show pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited to
good.
see.
Well, give it a little plug.
Yeah, exactly. The Our Strange Skies podcast. Be sure to check that out. It's available wherever you get podcasts. Also, too, he's on the social medias, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks. So
Yeah, it's good
I'm
shit.
pretty sure actually he has a group. It's called like In Gray We Trust, which is a really cool group.
That's
so,
awesome.
So yeah, so shout out to Rob. I'm super stoked for his show to come back. And what does Rob say about us?
Let's
I'm
find
excited.
out. Come for the cryptids, stay for the great banter. The Cryptonaut podcast quickly became one of my favorites. Rob, Chris, and Mark bring great insight and laughs to the table every week. Also, Rob Morphy's grammar game is elevated. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you. I'm glad someone finally fucking noticed.
Enigmatic entity.
I know.
The tradition. The man slays with those sneak adjectives. Can't recommend them enough. Thank you, Rob. Again, we can't wait for your podcast to come back, and thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah, we cannot recommend his podcast enough. It is such a great show.
Our final review this week comes from Angelica Marosaya Lindell. I apologize if I've mispronounced any of that.
Oh, geez.
Sometimes I don't know all my words.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I think I just mispronounced the word mispronounced. I really love the stories, period. Return, next line.
Nice.
The dynamic between the guys are awesome. A heart manufactured out of a greater sign and a 3.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's the old school one.
Or perhaps a
Perfect.
lesser sign. I really suck at math.
Yeah. Perfect.
But either way, thank you so much, Angelica.
I spoke with
All
her
right, thank you.
just last night, actually. She's from Sweden, where
Oh, nice.
where the Domston, or actually I think it was her husband that she said, is from the area where the Domston
geez.
Globs happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and actually I sent you an article. She sent me something too. It's like a UFO memorial.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent that
Yeah.
last night. Check that out. It's pretty cool.
I do.
So
I
shout
remember
out.
the
Thank you
links.
very much for getting a hold of
Sweden,
us.
Absolutely.
Hey.
And
yeah,
if you
what up, Sweden?
if you ever make a pilgrimage, take some photos, send them in. We'll put them up on all
Yeah.
our socials and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I think maybe we should. I mean, we know someone that's from Sweden. Like,
Yes.
we know her somewhat very well.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
maybe we could be like, hey, can we hang out at your house in Sweden with your parents?
Can we look for stray creatures
Dude,
in the
I
night?
bet you she would be cool about
She
it.
probably.
Like,
Well, yeah, but I don't want to impose and just be
so
like,
next time he goes there,
"Hey."
we'll hang out and
Yeah. I mean, we only like really want to go there to like see At the Gates and like In Flames and like Dark Tranquility.
So
but whatever,
make
it's
it a
cool.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Hammerfall.
in
For the black
Hammerfall.
metal schedule to correspond
Sabaton.
with the paranormal
Yeah.
schedule and
Yeah.
a free couch.
We're really
That's
just going.
all.
We're just going there
For the metal.
We're just going there for metal. Yeah, we just want to
Come for the metal, stay for the cryptids.
Walk around Gothenburg and just to kind of see what's going on. So, but yeah, no. Shout outs to Sweden, all of our friends there. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And,
Thank you so much to everyone that reviews because
Yeah,
not only,
totally.
like we've said millions of times before, is it great for the ego? It absolutely is. But it also helps our standings immensely.
Yes, on
which
the
helps us
different
get the word out
charts.
to more folks and booyah.
yeah, and we get to the more that we're exposed to people, the more listeners we get, and it helps us grow. So,
It's a snowball of glory.
and there you have it. This is our second goodbye, but we'll be talking to you next week.
Although details regarding this potentially. Jeez Louise.
Potentially.
Potentially.
All right, let's breathe.
Everyone breathe. Let's be mindful.
Yep.
Mindfulness.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back to where?
Just bring it back. Pinch your nipples and bring it back.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
I didn't know what was going on.
Pinch your
What the
nipples.
fuck are you doing?
Because then you get out of your
By
dream-
pinching your nipples?
Yeah, you get out of your dream state. Yeah.
Who taught you that?
You get
Not
out of
Sam
your,
Harris.
You get out of your.
I'll tell you that.
It's not Sam Harris. All right, here we go.
Although,
Okay.
sorry.
What?
Sorry.
I was
I
gonna,
wasn't expecting this.
I know.
Shauna Na.
Sean and I. All right, here we go. Boom.
Although, excuse me. I told you I'm broken
No.
tonight.
I could actually hear the vomit come up.
No.
Oh, bile.
I literally stopped
You
being
literally-
hungover 7 minutes before we started
You
recording.
could hear it was chunky.
It's been a rough
now
weekend.
entering
It has
Bile
been
City.
Such a rough weekend.
Let's get back to
this
that
goddamn
bad.
maggot.
All right.
All right, maggot.